Hello and welcome to the 27th episode of the 34 Sports Podcast. I'm joined again with Randy. How you doing today?
Hey everyone, thanks for listening. I'm doing very well. Super excited for this draft.
Yeah, I'm super excited too. I haven't. Jeez, I put out the videos the last couple days. Well, about a couple weeks ago, and I was just really excited. I kind of got, I don't know, I got lazy, but we're back at it again. We're gonna start out today talking about Team USA. Just very underwhelming this year. They got KD, they got Dame, they got Jeremy Grant,
Very fun.
they
Who's
got,
actually playing pretty well.
yeah, Draymond's playing well. I mean, they've got enough guys there, but they've been getting killed by teams that, I mean, they don't even really get killed. They just lose fourth quarter leads to teams like Nigeria, who has 8 NBA players, but none of them are really top tier guys. Lost to Australia,
Yeah,
who's got Patty Mills and Joe Ingles. I mean, come on. And then,
team. The team is Evan Fournier and Nicholas Batum. We can't beat them.
yeah,
It's pathetic. It's pathetic.
if they can't beat them now with Batum and Fournier, what are they going to do when Victor Wembanyama comes up? I think that's how his name is pronounced. He's taller than Gobert is, and he's a more athletic center that can dribble the ball. He's 7'3". I don't know how many people know who he is, but I mean,
Yeah,
hey, go ahead.
they're just in trouble. I mean, they even had Drew Holiday come and help, and he played amazing, by the way. But outside him, the rest of the team shot 36% and 30% from behind the arc. Not going to cut it. And this, you're right. Two guys alone should be able to carry this team. Two all-time greats.
Yeah, they should be able to
Uh,
get two guys from the pros, and the rest of the guys could come from the G League, and it shouldn't matter with the amount of talent that we have over here.
yeah, just bodies, and there's no excuse. And I don't know what the answer is. I I don't know. I don't know what to say other than this is pathetic. And Drew Holiday showed up and played great, and
Yeah, everybody
Draymond
else
Green's
had
still
like
pretty
12
good.
points. I mean, that's not going to cut it. I mean, Luca
Yeah,
had 48, and I mean, it props to Luca. If he can get it done with Croatia this year, I'd respect that a lot. But
yeah.
I still want Team USA to win. I don't know about Popovich's coaching in the Olympics. He's not had the best track record so far. I mean,
I just don't
Coach,
know why you chose him now.
I
He'd
don't.
been great 8 years ago.
Yeah, he was on Coach K's roster though as an assistant for a long time, but man, I wish he should have just left it alone because he's a great NBA coach, but he's making people question him when he's losing like this in the Olympics.
Yeah, I think with that roster, I would ask Steve Kerr to do it
Yeah,
if he's
Steve
American. That is my
Kerr.
assumption is he is American.
I would. I don't know. I may. The rules are different. I don't know if I'd even just have somebody who wasn't like an NBA coach do it. Somebody who's used to the rules of the FIBA more. Even like a guy, Charlotte's coach. I mean, I said I don't want to coach, but James Borrego, who is Charlotte Hornets coach, coached over in the Euro League for years.
Yeah.
So he would know the rules better because they don't let the carries, they don't let the extra moves, the dribble moves have to be tighter. No moving with the ball, and it's just a different game, a little more physical. And these guys who get to the line 10, 15 times a game can't seem to handle it.
Listen to this. Damian Lillard only shot 10 shots, only made three of them. Durant only shot four of them, out of and only excuse me, shot 12 and only made four of them.
They,
Uh, I don't know what's going on.
they should have brought Carmelo back because Carmelo has won before and he knows what to do over there. He would have been a good leader off the bench, maybe some minutes off the bench for him.
Hmm.
But he could have played
Fournier,
like a Haslam role for them.
Fournier. Oh, sorry, good.
Well, but like Udonis Haslam does with Miami, that would have been his role. Because that's
Yeah,
really
it's
the
weird.
only. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. No,
No,
I'm stepping all over you. I'll let you go.
well, no, but that's really the only thing Carmelo's ever won is an Olympic gold medal. So you would think they would want him there because that's his specialty.
I'm curious as to who is choosing the Olympic team, right?
It's the coach.
Uh, because why don't you want Trey Young on this team? Trey has been all over Twitter saying he wants to play Olympic basketball,
Yeah,
and you know They bring in Keldon Johnson, which, by the way, he's played great
Yeah,
too.
he was a fine pickup. I wasn't mad with Keldon, but I know what Trey was saying.
But why the heck not bring Trey in? And I guess there's other players that want to play too, but they haven't been selected. And so, but even your point is still valid from the very beginning. There's no reason this team can't win a gold medal, and it's shameful. It
Yeah,
really is shameful.
I I mean, I can think if you had just Steph and Clay over there by themselves, I think they need more teammate chemistry. I think a little of the problem could be is they're just bringing everybody from every team together, which again shouldn't matter. But I think they need more guys that have played with each other before.
Yeah. Well, you knew that KD and Bam were beefing hard, right? I guess a video came out where Bam wouldn't get, you make a shot, you get the ball back, and I guess Bam didn't do that. Him and KD got into a fight over it.
That's kind
It
of
may have
you
been,
talking when they're shooting around.
yeah.
That's
And I
kind
guess
of
it
an
didn't make common
unwritten
sense.
rule. I don't know about Bam. I don't know about that one. I think KD's in the right on that one because when
Oh,
you
I
make it,
agree.
you should get the ball back. But
I agree. It's respect, right? You give back. I agree. I agree. But I'm just saying part of the reason why the chemistry might be so horrible is because they've been beefing. It doesn't seem like any of the guys are happy to be there really either, except for maybe Draymond.
yeah, I I don't know.
So
I'm glad Curry didn't go because he needs to keep healthy. But I think Steph Curry would have been good for that team leadership wise. I don't. I've
yeah,
never seen KD really step up in any point in his career and just be the straight out leader on a team. He's usually there to be a good uh somebody who can carry you, but he's not really somebody who wants to talk a lot.
yep,
I don't
yep.
know. That could be a
I
problem
don't
for the
know.
Nets next year because Harden and Kyrie and Durant, none of those guys are like that. So
Well, I expect them to win an NBA championship, but
we'll
who
see.
knows?
Milwaukee's got confidence now, so that'll be interesting. But that's not really what we're getting into today. But that is another topic that we could talk about eventually.
Yeah, Drew Holiday turned into Superman, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Um. Let's just talk before we get into the draft. I'll talk about the big trade that went down, which kind of affects the draft slightly. I'll list it off first, just for anybody who doesn't know. The Pelicans and the Grizzlies agreed to a trade where the Pelicans received Jonas Valanciunas, the 2021 17 and 51 pick, and the Grizzlies received Steven Adams, Eric Bledsoe, the 10th pick and the 40th pick, and the Lakers uh, top 10 protected pick next year, which they'll get that pick because the Lakers will not be in the top 10 most generally unless they. I mean, you can't even buy a pick from that far out. But uh, what this deal did was open up cap space for New Orleans because Eric Bledsoe's contract was taking up quite a bit of cash on them. And they were capped out, and they're really not in the place where they want to be, so they had to do that. But that does move the Grizzlies into the 10 spot, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with that 10th pick. Um, Looking right now, they could get a guy like Josh Giddey out of Australia, who's a pretty good distance shooter. Be another good guy down low for them. You got Book Knight, who's a good defender. You got Keon Johnson, who's a 48-inch vertical. There's some good pieces they could pick up there. Maybe they'll go out of that. Who knows? Maybe they see somebody lower that they like. I mean, the draft's an interesting thing because you never fully know all the picks.
Yeah, I'm wondering why Memphis pulled the trigger on this trade, right? They're not really contending for anything. They moved down in the draft, and what do you get out of it? I like
Well,
Steven Adams a lot.
Memphis moved up.
Oh, they moved up? Okay.
Yeah,
Excuse
the
me.
Pelicans moved down and they got rid of Cap.
Okay. So that's an even trade then. Excuse me. That's a very even trade then.
Yeah,
I think it's good. I think I like the Steven Adams pickup for the Grizzlies
yeah.
and moving up in the draft.
The
That's
Gri-
good for them.
the Grizzlies, if you really look at the roster, didn't have any veterans last year. It was mostly just the oldest they had was maybe second, third year players, maybe one or two veterans. But other than that, they were pretty well all young guys. That's why they didn't go that deep in the playoffs. Although they did get to play the Jazz in the first round, they didn't really make any noise against them.
Hmm.
I think Bledsoe will be a good mentor for Ja to kind of maybe help him with his defense a little bit, which isn't bad, but isn't elite by any means. And Adams is always a force down low, so I like that for the Grizzlies. And the Pelicans, they got a lot of work to do, so I don't know how this trade's going to stack up for them. But
I think the wild card of this trade is going to be that Lakers 2022 first round pick, right? Because if they don't do what they do and sign some old superstar here in this offseason, they might be a barely making it in once again playoff team, and that could actually be a pretty decent pick there. So, but I mean, if they land someone like Westbrook, then well,
well,
it's
they
a
just
different
they
story.
just
But
got a wrench thrown in it today because Harrell has a player option that he can either pick up or decline. Which, if he declines it, it makes him a free agent, and they can't sign and trade him. So basically, he can more or less set whether he wants to be signed and traded or not.
oh, interesting. Okay, well he's not. If that's the case, then he's not going anywhere.
That's about
Okay, you're
12
right.
million in their contract. They've got about, I think, around 12 with KCP. Kuzma is, I think, around 5. So you're looking at about 35 there. I think my math may have been off on that, but it's somewhere in the range of 30 million, which is enough to
Well,
move for Westbrook with some picks there. But if Harold does not want to be signed and traded to the Wizards, which is not an appealing location for most players, that's probably not going to work out for them. Could though,
yeah.
it might. But
Woj reported that they shopped Kuzma and KCP to every single team in the league.
yeah, that's not in a. That's
So
not. Nobody really wants that. I mean, Kuzma would be a good gamble, but what the Lakers want back for that is more than what people are willing to give. Because
yeah.
Kuzma had a lot of potential, but they've tanked the visual on him for a lot of teams. He doesn't look as good as he did a couple years ago.
Yep.
Um,
Exactly. So that Lakers 2022 first round pick, that's the wild card of the trade. I think that's the thing.
yeah.
I think, however, the Lakers play for this year, that's going to determine who wins this trade. Because right now it looks pretty even to me.
I
I
don't.
say good for
It's
both
top
teams.
10 protected. I don't. I don't see the Lakers getting into the top 10, even if they go middle of the road. I could see it
Yeah.
maybe fall as low as 11, and that's not in top 10. So
There could be some nightmare
it
scenario
depends
where
if.
they do.
I mean, you got the glass man on the Lakers that is. It's. I mean, the Lakers fans are hoping that he is there because he could be gone just like that, as we saw this year for like 3 4 months.
Right.
It's not a
So yeah,
guy.
pretty.
Not a guy I would have invested long term in, but they're kind of stuck with what they've got.
Yep. So I would say right now, dead even trade, the Lakers pick will be the tipping point for me in a year down the road to see who won this trade. But from both sides, I'm pulling the trigger on this trade. That's
Yeah,
pretty good.
yeah, I think it is, and we'll see what. I mean, you could always. The X factor too is who they pick up with the pick,
Right.
because who knows 3 4 years down the road what that 10th pick will look like. Who is that? I mean, is that Keon Johnson with the 48-inch vert? Is he good? Is you got Kai Jones, who's a 7'2" guy, nice big. What
Right.
would he be good? Who knows?
You could have some freak thing too. Let's say something like by some freak accident, Kaminga slips down 2 or 3 spots and is at the number 10. Right. Then you really win the trade.
Well, yeah,
But
I don't see Golden. If he makes it down to 7, I think Golden State's got him. But I don't. I mean, that's just my
easy
thought. I mean,
peasy.
it could go. I don't. I don't. That would be awfully hard for me to see Kamanga drop any lower than 7. But
Oh, I agree. But it happens. It does happen.
I was honestly, if Detroit had fell anywhere between 4 and 5, I was hoping we'd take Kamanga as Detroit before the draft lottery.
Yep. So, yeah, I like that trade for both teams. Good on both of them.
And
One team's
who
wanting to free up
knows?
some cap space. One team's wanting to build.
Who knows? Maybe they'll end up with Sekou Doumbouya and Detroit will have the 10th pick.
Bro, his value is gone.
I
It's
know his
over now.
value. I'd like to get a second round, a couple of seconds out of him maybe this year. Try to play around in the second round. We got Saban Lee last year, so
Yeah, what a pick that was.
that
Very
was
happy
pretty
with that.
decent. We'll see how.
Yep.
I mean, I've only seen 1 year, but he seems pretty good. I'm pretty sure we'll end up trading him off because I think he's got a bigger role somewhere else. But good trade bait eventually.
Don't you get me talking about Detroit, because I'm going to talk about Detroit when we talk draft talk here.
Well, we're right into it. You want to get at it?
Let's do it. Let's do it. Are we gonna do some draft predictions here? Who we think's gonna take who? As of
Well,
right now,
I've got my mock. I mean, I followed somebody's mock draft, but I'm pretty well. I mean, except for a few moves of what I wrote down, it's pretty much the same as what I would say.
I wrote down my top 10 picks. Who I think's gonna go where?
Okay, I got that too, so we can go there.
Okay, let's do this. I'm very excited about this draft
I
for
don't,
us.
I don't
For
think we're
Detroit.
gonna complain with one. I really don't.
Well, can we let's just get this out there. Detroit's not trading the pick.
No, if they were gonna do it, they would have pulled on the Shea Gillis-Alexander trade, but that.
Not worth it. And as great as he is, it's not worth it.
Well, we already blew that when we traded for Blake because we had that pick that was used for Shea Gildas.
But you got to give it to OKC with all the. How many times have they drafted this? I think they have 5 picks.
I think they own 10% of the draft, including the
there's-
second round.
1, 2, 3. Man, props to OKC 4, 5.
Well, it's
They've
props,
got
but they
6
also.
picks.
I wouldn't want to get drafted late by OKC because I'd be afraid they'd just waive me and wouldn't even use me because of the amount of picks they have. I mean, they can't sign everybody.
That is interesting. They're in a conundrum. But you know what though? I'd rather have some young cheap player than maybe some veteran that's you're paying 5 or 6 million to. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
Washed up
They
veteran.
don't really have many veterans, so I mean, they get Kemba, but
That's because all these draft picks they've been using.
oh, yeah, they got some good young guys. Though. One of my favorite young guys to watch is Lou Dort. He's got
Yeah,
defense and offense.
you know me. I love guys that play defense and put a priority on defense. One of the reasons why I don't like James Harden, as great as he is, I wish he would put more effort in on defense.
Houston ruined him. He used to be able to play defense, but then they wanted him to focus on offense, so he just laid off the defense because he knew he could beat everybody just from shooting.
All right, well, I don't think I need to ask this, but who you got with the Detroit Pistons #1 overall pick?
Cade,
Yeah,
Cade,
That's easy.
unless we get a trade for Kevin Durant or LeBron James or Giannis.
No.
Or
no, I wouldn't.
I'm
take,
just
I wouldn't
saying
take
it would
LeBron.
have to be. It would have to be just in a top tier superstar for that pick to be moved.
See, and here's why I don't even take those moves. Right, you bring KD here, and that's, by the way, this is never gonna happen. But I'm saying why I wouldn't trade these picks even for those guys. You're not gonna win anything, even if you bring 1 or 2 of those guys over
No.
here, right?
No.
It's just our guys are too young. Cade is a guy that's going to grow with the young guys that we have
Perfect
to where
timing.
2 or 3 years we have a team.
He's like,
Cade said playoffs this year.
I think we can make the play in. East is pretty well a walkthrough if you can do it right.
Yep.
I mean, that's why I've been so mad for so many years with Detroit is because I know we've been at 500, and if you're even halfway mediocre, you can make it in the East. It's like, come on.
Yep. And well, let's talk about the good things about Cade Cunningham. There's not enough you can.
I've got
ship,
one.
obviously.
I've got one thing I've heard bad about him, but
Turnovers.
turnovers. Yeah, that's what I saw. But that can be
Yeah.
adjusted.
That's a young guy thing.
He might even
Unless
learn
you're
from
Chris
Killing.
Paul.
And Killing's really good with the ball, so maybe he can pick up some stuff from playing with him. So, or
Yeah,
maybe
that's
even
the
if
only bad thing I've heard about him.
maybe even if turnovers is the issue, you have Killian bring up the ball and then get it to Cade in the half court, and that could be a play, depending on where
Well,
his turnovers happen.
I know everyone wants to play him at the 1, and I love that we're talking about this already because it's a sure thing that Detroit's going to take Cade Cunningham
Yeah.
if they keep the pick, which I think is a sure thing as well, because he plays great off-ball defense, right? He's got a good off-ball offense
He's
as well.
got
I don't see any
size.
reason why I can't.
He's got
He can
size. That's
slash.
why his defense is better. It's because of the size.
Yeah, he can slash. He can score under the bucket, and he can shoot. And so I think it would be cool. I would love to see him and Killian together.
I would
And
experiment with it because back in 04, 05, not a lot of people remember, and I didn't even know until 2K added the team in, but you had Kidd and Anthony Hardaway on a team at once, and both of those guys are ball dominant guards, and that they made the playoffs with that team, so I'd just like
yeah,
to see. I'm not ready to give up on Killian. The only one I'm really, I mean, I have a lot of faith in most of the Pistons, but Sekou's the only one that I'm iffy on. But
well, his value's gone. I say we hang on to him now because we're not going to get anything for him.
well,
But
yeah, you got 2 years on his contract. Next year might be the year to figure it out. But uh,
assuming we pick up the option,
well,
which we will.
you've also we didn't have G League last year either because of the everything being shut down and
Right.
regulated and all that.
I mean,
So
yeah, he's
now,
still 19, but he's not showing anything that's
no, he's had outbursts every once in a while, but I don't know. I don't know. Hopefully next year. We're kind of getting a little bit off here. But yeah, I'm ready
yeah.
to see
Well,
Hayes and Kay. We got to go watch a game. I'm already saying it. We got to go watch one.
oh, we will. So
Check
plus
out.
is Cade Cunningham. He can score anywhere, inside, outside. He can drive. He can shoot. He can
He can
pass.
finish.
Has a wonderful feel for the game. Has great defense. He's really known for his off-ball defense, but he can play on-ball defense as well, which is why I think again you move him from the one, maybe over to someplace else.
Yeah,
And a lot of people say it's like Ben Simmons, but can shoot.
yeah. We can't
Gets me
let
excited.
him. We can't make the same mistake that Philly made and force him to be a one when maybe that's not his best fit because that's why Ben Simmons is in the position he is now because of the force of Brent
Right.
Brown to keep him at that position when really I don't know if that was best for him.
Yeah. I think it's time to give Killian a shot because Cade. I, I think Cade could play the one, but it seems to me like maybe his off-ball stuff is even better. As good as his on-ball stuff is, maybe he's even better off-ball. But we'll see.
He has. I mean, if you get it figured out while he's still in the building phase, it'll be fine. You got to just figure out where you want him, how he'll fit in Detroit, because we need to be at least competitive in a few years so these guys stay with us instead of leaving. But I think we will. But we'll get it figured out. I like Killian and I like Stewart, but I think the real duo we've got coming up will be if we. I mean, this is still an if. They haven't read out his name yet, but Cade and Sadiq will be the real duo that we're watching for years in Detroit.
Oh man,
And they
that's
both.
exciting that you just said that.
They got to overpay on Sadiq. I don't care when his contract is up. I'd give
Well,
him like a Jason Tatum type contract if he keeps on this trajectory.
that's another reason why I'd like to see Cade play the two as well.
Yeah.
Is because you got Killian, and then you have both Cade Cunningham and Sadiq on the perimeter.
Sadiq plays the four actually a lot, so
Yeah, he can play either. I mean, you are a perimeter threat, which is what Dwayne Casey wants to do. So I'm excited with that.
I don't know if many people have talked about it, but I can't even imagine the Cade Cunningham Sadiq pick and roll with that size in the pick and roll would be insane.
I'm loving it. I'm excited, man. I'm so excited for the Pistons' future. So it's a lock, folks. If the Pistons keep that number one pick, they are getting Cade Cunningham, and Detroit will rejoice because it will be a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
And then they'll be on to the next part, which is the hardest, is to figure it all out. But you got to get the pieces there. But
Yep.
I'll get off my soapbox on Detroit, and we'll move on to Houston with the
Yep.
second pick. Who do you got them taking?
I got them picking up Evan Mobley to play alongside
Ooh.
Christian Wood.
See, I went with Jalen Green.
See, they do need guards.
They
They do
got
need
Kevin
guards.
Porter Jr. Wall's not a long term for that team. He could get moved at the draft as far as that goes. But I don't know if Kevin Porter or Green could flip to the one, or if they need to play Green at the three and bring somebody else in at the one. But they
Yeah,
got a decent team there, and I think when you talked about somebody playing with Christian Wood. You missed out that Kenya Martin Jr. is down there in Houston and has played fairly well.
That's a fair point. Yeah, I'm not mad about your pick at all. As a matter of fact, that would actually be pretty cool to see Christian Wood and Mr. Green play together. Uh, upsides with Jalen Green. He's super duper athletic, lights out shooter. That'd be a lot of fun to watch him with Christian Wood.
Jalen
Um,
Green was the number one rated all time that he's done a scout on somebody. Mike Smith Schuster, I think it is on Instagram. He does a lot of draft stuff. He's the highest rated prospect he's ever graded, so he's good too.
by the way, do you know who Evan Mobley is compared to a lot?
I think he had an Embiid like offensive game and a Bam Adebayo like defensive game, is what I've
I
seen.
hear a lot of yes, you're right about that, but I also hear Christian Wood a lot
Well,
for
there you go.
Mobley. But he's a great shot blocker. He's known for his shot blocking. It's weird for a big, but he's actually got really good on-ball defense. And you're right, he can score from the post. He's an old school guy that I love, and I have to admit that old school kind of player is probably what bumped him up to number 2 for me.
He can
Even though,
stretch too, though.
yep,
He can when he
yep,
needs to.
he's a playmaker too. He actually has really good feel for the game. So, uh,
I don't
yeah,
know what pick they've got late, but I would if I picked Mobley, I would also try to pick up his brother late to keep
yep.
that duo together because that I think is an underrated thing that people don't think about sometimes in the league. I think Giannis in the Bucks helps Giannis gets
Oh,
him
that's
hyped
definitely more.
up.
That's a morale boost for him for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And his
Yep.
Mobley's brother can play. I don't know if he stayed in college or if he went in the draft. I'm not sure, but he can play as well. Both them Mobley brothers were good at USC.
So recap: number 2 pick for me, I put Evan Mobley, and I agree he's not a good a fit for Houston right now as Jalen Green is, and that's who Logan picked for his 2 pick
Hmm.
going out to Houston.
All right, on to 3, Cleveland. We probably flipped, didn't we? Because I got Mobley for Cleveland.
And I got Green, and
Yeah.
Green's a horrible fit for Cleveland, by the way, because they have a great guard situation
Well, they're
going on.
moving out Sexton possibly though, so that would open up space for him to play alongside Garland if he does go there.
Yeah. So it's funny we just do a flip. So and the only reason why I did that is because Evan Mobley's off the board. I think Jalen Green is the next best available
Well,
player.
yeah, it's either one or the other. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really the first flip I could see, or it could not move at all. Um, but the reason why I picked Mobley is because they've already got Sexton Garland, like you said, if they decide to keep Sexton. And for Mobley, I think he would play good again. He would play good next to Jarrett Allen, and I think they're going to move Kevin Love out, so that would replace that power forward position because Mobley is, or no, maybe Mobley is taller than Jarrett Allen, so I'm not sure how that would fit power forward center, but it could work.
That's exactly why I put Mobley to Houston
That makes sense. I could, yeah.
because because Jared Allen I love. See, Jared Allen's one of them old school players. Defense, grit and grind. Not a great scorer, but I mean his defense is worth
He's
it.
had his moments. He's had a
Yeah.
few
So
outbursts, but yeah, mostly defensive.
I think boy, could you imagine a Cleveland team with Jared Allen and Mobley? Dang. But
Uh,
we know the Twin Towers thing usually doesn't work, a la Monroe
I
and Drummond.
this reminds me of a Duncan Robinson though, because
Well, they're
Jared
certainly
Allen
better.
is defensive, and Mobley can score mid range, 3-pointer,
Yep.
post. Could work that way, but
Right.
could, like you said, be Greg Monroe and Andre Drummond. I mean, you got two sides to the coin. You don't know. I mean, draft is always a gamble anyway. But this year it's looking pretty solid with these first 4 picks here.
Yeah.
Let's just go on.
Well, one reason why I like
Go ahead.
Mobley. Oh, go ahead.
No, go.
Sorry.
I was gonna
Go
move
ahead.
on, but you got something else.
Well, one reason why I really like Mobley is because he does have the ability to stretch, but he can bang down on the
Oh
post,
yeah.
and that's why I love him. I love him for that. You know me, old school big man basketball. I love. and he can do that, but he can shoot as well. So, I mean, from the 3-point line in his college career, he's shooting 32%, which is really good for a big. So,
Yeah,
I
we'll,
like it.
we'll have to see
I like him a lot.
because we'll have to see how because sometimes when that line stretches out, some guys just lose it. Like it. Take for instance a Stauskas a few years ago that played for Michigan, just could not do it in the NBA. But let's hope a guy like Mobley can do it. Seems like more and more of the guys that come up, and even the bigs, have worked on fundamental shooting more because the new era of players just focuses on that more because they know they can do it. Whereas in the old
Yeah,
days, it was shut down. But
exactly.
that's why you
Yep.
got guards with handles like Bam Adebayo and you get Mobley. I think can dribble slightly. I'm not. I haven't. I'm gonna watch a video tonight. Put a video up in a couple days here about watching Mobley's game. I've watched some, but not a ton. But I know he's got a good skill set, and I think wherever he falls, the team's gonna enjoy his presence.
Just to get your blood excited even more, Jalen Green, wonderful, excellent perimeter scorer, right? That's one of the things he's known for. Who do you think had the better perimeter scoring, Jalen Green or Cade Cunningham?
I think it was Jalen Green because Cade had an off year at Oklahoma State. I know that.
Check this out. So Jalen Green shot 85 three-pointers last year with a 36.5 three-point percentage. Cade shot 136 with a 41 three-point percentage.
Cade shot 41%.
Bro, I mean, he can do everything. I am so excited. Yes, he did.
I
He
heard he
shot
had a
41.
maybe that was early in the season. I heard that he had a kind of a lull from three, but maybe he figured it out towards the end.
So, well, I think we're going to agree on the fourth pick, aren't we?
Suggs,
Yep.
Suggs to
Easy
Toronto.
peasy.
They need an
Easy peasy.
offensive guard. Lowry's on the way out. They need just somebody at the end of the game they can give the ball to and say score because we've seen this last year that Siakam had about 5, 6 chances to win the game and just was not that type of guy. He's a great accent piece, but not your top guy.
Yeah, I'm actually. And by the way, I would say we've had four tiers in this draft. Cade's in a tier by himself, as we just talked about, and then we have Green, and Mobley and Suggs in the next tier,
Yeah,
as in all stars. See, all these guys are gonna be all stars,
yeah.
and I get really excited about Suggs because watching his highlights, you know who he reminds me of?
Russell Westbrook for me at least.
He reminds me of Mr. Big Shot, Chauncey Billups.
Chauncey. I
Chauncey,
hadn't thought about that because
playmaker,
he's got more height, more
always
vertical than
taller.
Chauncey, but I
For
could
sure.
see
But he's
that.
got good defense, super good defense, a playmaker. He can shoot the three with a 35. He had
Well,
35%
yeah,
from
he
three
hit the
point
one
line.
from the line in the tournament.
Yeah,
Hit the one
good
from about
shooter. So,
40 feet.
so I'm sure your friend Raptor would be super excited to get a guy like Jalen Suggs. I would be. I'd be thrilled.
Yeah, Suggs. They haven't had. I mean, they traded for Kawhi. They got rid of DeRozan, who was their point getter. Got Kawhi. Kawhi leaves. So now they've got all these role players with nobody to take charge, really. Bunch of
Yeah.
guys that want to get it to a guy, but nobody's there. So that's what they need is a guy like Suggs. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good pick for Toronto. And at 5, we've got Orlando, and I've got them taking Scotty Barnes. I've seen a lot of people compare him to a defender like Paul George or Kawhi Leonard. He's very good defensively. His offensive game is kind of weak, but so was Kawhi's when he came in the league. So that'll be good for Orlando. Orlando needs a lot, but there's always a start somewhere. Who did you have?
Yeah, I have Scotty Barnes as well, and yeah, just known for his defense. His shooting ability is not there yet, but that is something most NBA players get as they grow older, right? He only shot 29% from 3-point land, and he only shot, get this, 61 free throw. But those are things that you can. Shooting is something you can improve.
Yeah,
Things like hustle and rebounding and defense is usually something that you don't improve upon. And so when I'm looking for a guy, I'm looking for defense, and that's why I have Scotty Barnes going number 5.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I've seen some of his highlights, but not a ton. So I hate to talk too much about him because I don't know a ton. But from what I've seen, looks he's got a lot of good intangibles that fit the game. The way it is now, with he should be able to switch a lot, even onto I wouldn't say center, but a power forward. But I mean, centers are getting smaller, more agile, so maybe he can guard them too. I mean, there's not many
Yeah.
people backing people down anymore. Besides, I mean, he's not going to guard Zion. There's not a lot of people that can guard Zion, but um,
Right.
good pick for Orlando. Um,
Yeah, it'll be a guy. You're right. I like that you compared him to Kawhi because Kawhi in his younger years was only known for his defense, and look at him now. He can do it all.
well, I think Barnes
So,
also. What makes me think of Kawhi is I think he's got top three biggest hands in the draft too. So he's right there
oh.
with Kawhi.
One thing I wish I could see in this thing too. I should have checked out wingspan too, but I'm sure he's got some of that going on too. But yeah, so we gotta, he's not gonna light up the offensive side in his first few years, but might not stop him from making all defensive teams like Kawhi in his early years, or maybe even, hey, who knows, maybe a Finals MVP like a young Kawhi Leonard as well.
Unfortunately, I don't want to diss on any Orlando fans, but he'll probably have to go somewhere else for that Finals MVP. But um,
Yeah, good point. Oh,
hopefully Orlando, even though they are not in a good place of winning, don't waste his talent. I hope they really try to work with him to get him to an NBA level. Because I mean, what we saw last year with Cole Anthony was he did okay, but he didn't really have too much outburst. Even when they were just bottoming out, he didn't really do a whole lot. So I hope that isn't a bad sign for their development department. But
right.
we'll have to see. Uh,
Honestly, I would treat Scotty Barnes how Philadelphia should have been treating. Man, we love hating on this guy, and I hope the best for him. But I hope they're training Scotty Barnes like Philadelphia should be training Ben Simmons, right?
Philly's got deeper problems because the same thing happened to Markelle Fultz with his shooting. So I think that's Philly's fault. I think Philly is
Yep.
bad with development myself, but
You get him with a shooting coach. You keep training it, you keep working on his defense, but you give him the shooting coach, and this kid could be great.
I mean,
I like it.
you get something dropped in your lap and you just ruin it with Fultz and Simmons. I mean, I don't have much pity on it.
This guy would have fit in great with the going to work Pistons.
Oh
So,
yeah, oh yeah.
so.
Uh,
All right.
6 OKC. I think we both. I got Kumanga. What do you get?
Oh, nope. Good night from UConn. That's who I got.
You got Boat Night.
Well, I think I did most of this for this is maybe wishful thinking for the Warriors pick up Kuminga. So
I would like it too,
I
but I don't know if OKC will pass it. Let him go.
yeah, I did that, and this is more wishful thinking for maybe Golden State because I'd love to see him go there. Um, so then he could maybe be in a mentee role. But yeah,
Well, they like to run
I do
small
have.
ball in Golden State too. That would be nice.
Yep, yep. So Kuminga is actually he's one of the guys I'm super excited about as well, right?
Yeah,
Um,
he,
athletic ball handler. And
as
can actually rebound as well.
as good as these other picks are, if those guys underperform at all, people are going to be kicking themselves for not taking Kumanga because he's just that kind of guy. I think that's going to be like I think he'd be the Bam Adebayo of power forwards because he can dribble and dunk and defend and rebound and do all that. But he's a little bit smaller than Adebayo, but he's the same type of player.
Yep.
But
Yeah, I agree. Oh, go ahead.
no, I did nothing. Go ahead.
It would. I think if you add them, you have two really good guards down in OKC, and that would be really really fun to see.
Well, OKC's
Like it.
building a dog of a team with Lou Dort, and you've got Shea Gildas. I don't consider Kemba into that because he's not long term by any means. Who else do you got? I'm trying to think of the center's name right now. Oh man. But they've got a center I like down there. I can't even remember his name right now because I can't remember the last time I watched an OKC game, but I was catching highlights.
So comparisons for
Uh,
Moon Knight
Roy,
is Jordan.
Isaiah Roby, I think is the one I'm thinking
Oh
of.
yeah,
Roby
yeah.
had some outbursts down there for OKC.
Listen, I'm telling you, that OKC team, in the near future they're going to be contending. You don't get all these draft picks and come away losers. They're
But
building a team the right way.
they know how to build it. They just don't know how to finish it. But we'll see what they do this time.
Right. So Boone Knight, he's often compared to Jordan Clarkson and C.J. McCollum, and from what I'm seeing, it doesn't look like his 3-point shooting is nearly as good as C.J. McCollum. But hey, and then again, shooting is something that comes along as you get older. And Kuminga, they're saying he's a lot like Luol Deng and Danny Granger. So he's
I
athletic.
don't like the Luol Deng comparison. As much as he was in the Bulls, he was pretty good. But I don't really know if I'd
but
strive for Luol Deng. But
Laker Luol Deng, not so much.
still on the books.
Yes, yeah, that's amazing. So I imagine then for the 7th pick with Golden State, did you have Boone Knight? Is that who you had?
I had Kispert. Corey
Oh,
Kispert out
okay.
of Gonzaga, the knockdown shooter, shot 40% in college at least. I don't have the exact stat, but
Oh man, I had him at 16.
oh wow. See, I haven't went that far. I went to 15 and stuff, but
Wow. Well, I only thought hard about the top 10. Let's say that.
I think Kispert, Golden State's in it at a bench forever now, and if they don't trade the 7 and 14 for a big piece, I think they're trying to add to their bench here, and that's why I picked Kispert to come off the bench, be a spark.
Just I was thinking, do they really need another 3-point shooter?
I think they have a
That was
lack
my
of it
thing.
off the bench. I think they have a lot of good
No, that's true.
defenders, but they don't
Yep.
have anybody who can really get them offense off the bench, is my biggest thing. Because they don't
So
have
yeah.
Barbosa anymore. They don't have Livingston. They don't have Iguodala. Even Iguodala was more of a defensive guy than offense, but he could give you some points. But the real offensive guys was like they had David Lee at one point, David West, like I said, Livingston, Barbosa, and those guys are gone. They need new bench guys to give them points. Their bench was their biggest downfall in 18. It didn't help as much, but they had enough talent to get over it. 19, when everybody got hurt, they didn't have it. And then in 2020, when Curry went down, and Clay went down, they had nobody to replace. There's no replacement. They've got Poole now, but that's about their only offensive guy off the bench.
Yeah, Kispert is he's a great 3-and-D type player, who's often compared to Bojan Bogdanovic,
Yeah.
who I fell in love with this playoff run. He was great.
Yeah.
And Joe Harris.
As long as he can move off the ball when the Warriors get their offense going like they used to, and they should be able to with Clay and Steph back, full health, I hope. But they move around. Everybody's got to be moving. They're going to be able to catch a guy like Kispert or Poole for threes. That's what they need. They need some shooters because they tried to do that when they brought in a guy like Jerebko a few years ago, and he was very anticlimactic for them.
Yeah. Oh, Jonas.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
was Detroit's future at one point, if I'm not mistaken. That was what Joe Dumars was trying to push, but that's a separate topic.
Well, for 7 with Golden State, I have Kuminga, and that would be a dream for them
Well, I would like
if
that
they
too.
picked him up. Yeah. So.
And yeah, we've already
All right.
talked over Kuminga quite a bit. So.
Yeah, he's gonna be a good pickup for whoever gets.
I thought he could have gone top 4 at one point, honestly, over Suggs to Toronto at one point, but
Yep. I think the only reason why he's not in the, in the top, the 2 tier, like we had the 2 tiers, I think his shooting brings him down quite a bit.
yeah.
But the ball handling is good, the athleticism is good, and he's gonna get his boards. So
Yeah.
so
So
pretty good.
who do you got at 8?
I have
It's another Orlando pick, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
I've got Davion Mitchell.
Okay, I liked
that was
him. I liked him. He played in Baylor. Yeah, Baylor won this year. It's been so long, I forgot. But he was a great there in that final game. Good defensive, kind of not a tall guard, but not a short guard by any means. Can give you the 3. Good playmaker.
What do you think he shot from the 3-point this year?
36.
44 with 141 shots.
Okay, that's pretty good. And
That's real good.
144 shows a lot of restraint because he finds his shot.
Yeah, that's really good. And by the way, that's not even according to these scouts. That's not even his best attributes, right? He's a
Playmaking?
ball.
Is that what they're
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. They're saying he's a playmaker, and which is great for his defense. He shoots 44 from the three. So whoever winds up with this guy, the problem is though, he's only 6 foot tall, and
Yeah,
that's why I put him down at the number 8.
I
He's only 6 feet tall.
I don't know about Orlando picking up another guard though. I hope he would get stashed, and I don't exactly like that for some of them guys because they've got
Yep.
Cole Anthony and Markel Fultz already. So I don't. I hope. I wish the best for Orlando, but I just don't like it when guards get stashed. I watched Detroit ruin Peyton Siva a few
Oh
years
man, I
ago
remember
here.
him.
He was
He
really
was a
good at
Louisville guy, wasn't
Louisville.
he?
Yeah, five
Yeah, yeah.
eleven. I think he was just barely under 6. But they stashed him and never let him play, and now he's. I hope he found something to do because I don't know if he's playing ball anymore. Maybe he's G League in it.
I remember him best because I think he torched Michigan, didn't he? When
Yeah, for Kevin Ware.
yep, I do remember that.
Yeah.
David Mitchell, he's compared often to Donovan Mitchell.
Uh,
So
okay, that's kind of an odd
go
comparison,
figure.
but
I would think he's a little bit more known for a little bit more defensive ability.
mm,
A little bit undersized, and so and a playmaker. So
maybe Utah will
I,
trade up and grab him as a Conley replacement.
obviously you'd be playing him at the 1.
Yeah.
I don't think there. Yeah, so there's no
No,
other
he's too
place you can put him.
small. He's not small by any means, but for the way the league's going, he's gonna definitely need to be a 1.
Well, for the NBA, he's tiny, right? You
Yeah.
have Chris Paul, who's at 6 foot. Who was the 6 foot in the league?
Well, if Isaiah Thomas was on a team, he would be the shortest.
Yeah, there you go. So,
Um,
who did you have at the 8?
I have Moses Moody out of Eastern or Western Kentucky, I think.
Man, his stock has fallen. Do you remember when he was in that second tier? There was a time he was in that second tier.
Yep. He went. He made a bad choice of going to Western Kentucky. I think. I don't. That was a bad school to go to. Did not make the tournament, which is another place to showcase your skills. And
Yep.
was not in the national spotlight. I didn't see hardly any highlights of his games. He should have went to, at the very least, even though Kentucky didn't make the tournament. If you go to Kentucky, you still get in the headlines. Um,
Yeah, there was
I
a
think there
time
was
he was
even
up there.
Duke going after him at one point. He could have went to Duke, different places, and he just decided to go to Western Kentucky. Maybe it was close to home. I don't know what the decision was there, but I know he's a good athletic, defensive big man. Uh, he's not an old school big by any means. He's more of a Bam Adebayo build type guy. But uh, I think sometimes you might be surprised by a guy like that who had a down year in college.
Yeah, he's known for his shooting, right?
Yeah.
Good defense. Actually, with a listen to this, 38% from 3-point land.
Mm-hmm.
This is the most I've seen of all the prospects, 145 shots. So that's super respectable, and that's only going to get better as he gets older.
Yeah. Scouts are going to
So,
discount it, though, because of the type of talent he was playing against at Western Kentucky, which is considerably lower than if you play at a just a. I keep using Duke in Kentucky or Michigan or State or Michigan
right,
State or one of those guys.
right.
You get considerably higher skill level that you have to play against. But I think he's going to be good either way. Might because I'm not trying to discount those lower tier colleges, but he might need a little more development than some guys do. But I think he's going to be pretty good in the long term.
You've shown a lot of love to those perimeter guys, Logan. A lot of love with the perimeter guys.
Well, perimeter guys that can dribble is the type that you want. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why, and I hate kind of getting sidetracked, but that was why I was more apt to sign Jeremy Grant than I was to sign Christian Wood because we can't build through another big again. And Jeremy Grant was a power forward that could dribble. That's how I feel about the league nowadays. That's the type of guy I like. At down low. Need one rebounder and you need an offensive guy.
Yep, I agree. What are we at now? 9.
9 to Sacramento. I had Franz.
You go first on this one.
I had Franz Wagner. Um,
Oh, for Michigan?
yeah,
Me too. That's exactly what I had.
they need a shooter because it's looking like Buddy Hield is on the way out. Possibly could be the only team that would take the KCP and Kuzma trade from the Lakers for possibly a pick thrown in there too for Buddy Hield. That's a possible trade, but they're gonna need shooters. They lost Bogdanovich to Atlanta last year, so they don't. I mean, they need more than just that. They're also going to have to move Bagley, and they're going to lose Rashawn Holmes to either, I think, Dallas or the Hornets. One of the two want Rashawn Holmes. So it's unfortunate, but the Kings are not going to make the playoffs anytime soon, and they may possibly be headed into another bare bones rebuild here.
Yeah, I
Unfortunately,
feel bad for Wagner
I feel bad for
because
Fox. I mean, Wagner's just getting started, but Fox is stuck there on a 4-year deal.
and has played amazing,
Yeah,
and nobody talks about him.
yeah. But
Yeah, Wagner's unfortunately his career is going to go there to get to an awful start.
he could sign a 2-year deal and try to show himself because I think he's got the skill set. He's a small forward, which is different than his brother, who was a center, who has been virtually non-existent in the game as well as he
Yep.
played in college.
Sadly,
But oh, he's gonna be good. He's a 3-point shooter. Do you have? I know you got the stats, but do you have what his 3-point was in college?
39 with 87 attempts, which is very good.
That's
At
pretty
a-
low
at a-
on attempts. I mean, if he's in the NBA and they want him to shoot, he's gonna get probably more than that.
Oh, absolutely. So that's what he's really known for is his perimeter. But he can also, hey, listen, he's got good defense and a little bit of playmaking ability too. So, he doesn't really have many dribble moves. When you give him the ball, he's not going to get himself open. But he's a good perimeter scorer,
Yeah,
can pass, and good defense.
I think you could see either him and Kispert flip for Golden State if they decide to go for a shooter. It could go either way there, whatever Golden
Yeah.
State sees. Kispert's got a
Listen.
little more size, but Wagner's a little bit quicker. So
I know you want a shooter in Golden State, but I'm pulling for Kuminga.
I guess I'm being a little pessimistic or whatever you want to call it. I'm just thinking that Kuminga's going to be off the board at that point. But if he
Yeah.
does fall, I'll be fine with that too.
So we agree, Wagner to Sacramento.
Yeah.
Oh, right, I like that.
Uh,
That's good.
10, New Orleans. I have Davion Mitchell going there. I had him falling a little bit more because of, where'd you have him, Orlando?
I had him number 8 with Orlando. Yep.
Okay. Well, this is not the Pelicans pick anymore. This is the Memphis pick. So,
Ooh, that makes
I
a
don't
difference.
know if this is Memphis pick. Are they? I could see a guy like Josh Giddey moving up to 10 to take that pick now, because he's I think he can play anywhere from 3 to 5, and he can score the 3 pretty well. He's in the Olympics right now for Team Australia, playing pretty good. He's actually out of the NBL, the same league that LaMelo came out of last year, and
Wait, I'm sorry, who did you say again?
Josh Giddey.
Oh, okay. Is he? Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
He's
Sorry.
a stretch a little bit. I guess I'm on that stretch. You are right. I'm on the stretch thing right now.
You love them 3-ballers, man.
If you get the right one, you're doing really well, and it helps space the floor, which is the type
Yep.
of game. And then that's why the 76ers are in such trouble, is because Embiid and Simmons need the paint. But, yeah, for Memphis, again with that, you can't clog the paint because of Ja, and you've got Adams now, so you're going to need a guy who can space the floor because you can't have double big down there. They've already got a big who can space the floor, and Jaren Jackson Jr., and he can dribble. Josh Giddey is kind of all over the place. He can dribble and shoot the 3, and he's got some playmaking. We're kind of falling out of these top tier guys, but these guys could be good. I mean, Kawhi and Giannis went at 15, so you never know.
Right. That's the truth. You never know. So I have actually Cameron Thomas from LSU.
Uh,
Uh, and now that Memphis, that hurts it a lot because Memphis has already got way too much money locked up at the guard position, way too much into the guard position, unless they somehow find a way to move, not Ja, but
Bledsoe.
yeah, who they just picked up, which is not going to happen.
They could move him
So,
on draft night for something. I don't know, but I don't know if he'll stay or if he'll go. I'm not sure.
yeah, so I did have Cameron Thomas. Cameron's kind of a, you know who he reminds me of? Well, he has a game kind of like mine, right? Which is can handle the ball, can shoot from mid range. Oh, okay. If you leave him open, he's going to hit you from 3 point. But really, he's known for ball handling, mid range
Mm.
shooting. And actually, if he gets to the line, he's going to make those free throws on you too. So that's kind of place. You know who that kind of reminds me of too, though.
I was
Mr.
thinking
Chris
D
Paul.
Book. Oh, I was thinking D Book.
Yeah,
But yeah, Chris Paul. Yeah, Chris
I don't
Paul
think he's as
worked
good a
on
shooter
his
as D
three
Book.
originally. I was just
Yeah, I
thinking
don't.
of D Book coming out of college because D Book really
Yeah.
worked on his game that first couple of years in Phoenix.
Yep. Yep. And people are comparing him to CJ McCollum, but again, I don't think he's nearly as good of deep range. But the funny
CJ
thing
was
is, if
bad
you leave him
until he
open,
went to Portland, though.
well, that's a good point. Maybe one day he'll get there, but he's not there now. He's actually lower than a lot of these bigs here that are on this list
Yeah,
as far as perimeter shooting. So,
I mean every team. It's all about how you fit. I mean, there's sometimes where guys just don't generally fit with the team they're on, and then sometimes like
well,
CJ, they get on a team and they just absolutely take their career to another level.
he has no fit in Memphis, so I don't. Now that that trade's happened, I don't see him going there, but that's who I did have him going for
Yeah.
with
Uh,
New Orleans. So,
um, do you want to go past 10 or are you good with 10? Because I don't know how good I would be past 10.
let's do one more.
All
Let's
right.
do one more.
I think it's a Hornets pick, right?
That will be Charlotte. Yep.
Yep.
And I actually had your guy, Josh Giddey.
Okay. I could see that.
Yep.
Josh Giddey. Um, like I said,
Again, a stretch that can
big stretch.
not a stretch. Sorry, he's a guard, but he a guy known for his playmaking ability, has a good feel for the game. Needs to work on his shooting.
Yeah.
So
I actually had Kai Jones going to the Hornets. They need a center, and he is like 7'1". Played for the G League Ignite. Can he can do a lot. I gotta watch a little more film on him. I should have watched more before I talked about him, but I know he's a top prospect. He was. They knew he was good. That's why he's on the Ignite. He's already had that experience with playing against G League guys, so I think he could be pretty good. Jordan needs a center. The best they've got right now is Tyler Zeller, or maybe no, they got Cody Zeller, and then off the bench they got Biombo, which the only reason he's had a resurgence is because LaMelo Ball can basically hit you wide open, and if you miss a shot, you're just dumb. Uh,
you said Kai Jones,
Kai Jones, yeah, out of G
okay.
League night.
And this is funny. You picked him. What do you think his 3 point percentage was? He had 33 attempts.
Out of 33?
This
Okay.
might shock you, actually.
45 if it's only like 33 attempts.
He shot 40. He shot
40.
40.
If you're picking your shots that well, there had to be a high percentage of completion.
Yep. Yep. Again, yeah, you're right. Just excellent defender. And really, people don't talk about a 3 point shot. But if I have a guy shooting 40% picking his shots, I like that. I really like that.
Yeah. Charlotte did pick a center last year, though, that I think could work too in Van Carey Jr., who was pretty good out of Duke. But I think they might draft another center here to kind of get them to battle against each other and see who comes out on top. Kind of Jokic Nurkic kind of thing back in Denver for a little bit there.
Yeah. Which turned out, actually, both those guys turned out. I mean, obviously, one turned out way better than the other, but
They're
Nurkic
both
is good,
usable. They're both
yeah,
definitely starters in the league.
without a doubt.
But
Yep.
yeah, I think that I don't know how much deep I'm gonna go in the draft because I think it's pretty up in the air after that point.
All right. Out of all of our Let's play a little quiz here. Out of all of our picks, all of ours combined, who do you think was the best 3-point shooter?
Was it Cade? I think you said Cade was on another level. Or was he
So
just,
Davion Mitchell beat him, but Cade was right on his heels.
was it 44 to 45 or something?
Yeah, 44 to 42.
Okay.
45 to 42, sorry.
Mm.
And Davion had a little bit more as well. So, what we're getting in Cade Cunningham is pure insanity. I can't believe it. I'm so excited.
Yeah, you've had, um, right now, I think we've had 3 franchise, borderline generational talent come into the league in the last 3 seasons. And I think you
What are you
had
talking about? What are
you
you talking about
had
when you say
you
that,
had
by the way?
Zion in 19, who was going to be your new age big, and
Okay.
then you got a fight between the new age point guard of LaMelo Ball and Cade Cunningham, who are both oversized guards that are going to be possibly, if they're good enough, which I think both will be, will cause a shift in the point guard position to where now even the guys who are 6'1", 6'2" are going to be questioned to whether they're tall enough to guard that. And I think it'll shift to where your guard will become around 6'4", 6'5". I think you could see a really big shift in that position.
Cade's 6'8". That's insanity. I mean, this is far and beyond the best pick of this draft. Easy.
Yeah, it's a
So,
no-brainer. That's why if they don't take him, they got no brains, basically.
well, I mean, they're going to because Troy Weaver's no fool.
Well, if they didn't take the Shea Gildas trade, they're not taking any trade because that's the only trade I've seen where if he had took it, I would have been mad, but not as mad as some of the other ones.
Yeah. And think about this. He's only going to get thicker and bigger, as it gets into his mid
Yeah,
20s.
Giannis added 50 pounds. I mean, he'll probably add 20 at least, I'd say.
I mean, he's going to be shredded. He's going to be able to shoot. He's going to be able to get to the bucket. I mean, he plays defense too. I mean, this
That's
kid's
Detroit.
amazing.
That's Detroit defense.
Yeah, he does everything. He just turns the ball over a little much. But guess what? That's a young guy thing. That can be tooled on.
Yeah, I mean,
Easy.
Chris Paul had, 20 plus turnovers in the finals? I mean, anybody can do it.
Yeah, he's led the league
Look
in
at
turnovers
look
quite
at
a bit.
Chris Paul. If anybody can do it, Chris Paul can do it.
Right. So, yeah, I'm excited about that. Should be a fun draft. When's that draft? When's that happening?
Thursday night, 2 days. 2 days. It's
Should
on
be good.
anybody who's if you have ESPN, you can watch it, or if I know some people might not know, but if you just have an antenna up and you're bringing in the signal, ABC can bring it in too, which is a free over the air that you can watch. Although if you try to pick it up online, they'll try to charge you, which is kind of sleazy in my opinion. But I'm not going to get into national broadcasting here on the podcast. But yeah, you can watch it on ABC. I'm going to be doing a reaction with Raptor actually, who's like we said that 4th pick with Toronto. See what his thoughts are on when they draft. Probably Suggs, but like I said, it's up in the air with any of these picks. But
Well, I'd just like to emphasize one time again, like it definitely seems to me like there's a 4 tier here. Cade's in a league of his own, and I'm super excited about that. And then Mobley, Green, and Suggs are in that 2nd tier,
mhm.
and you call them all stars, and I couldn't disagree. And then I think pretty much all the way up to the lottery are good players, and then there's everyone else.
Yeah,
That's my opinion of it.
this reminds me a lot of 03's draft, except there's no Darko to throw a wrench in it.
Listen, you know who I think could be Darko? Who could be? Let me think.
Barnes.
Actually, it's funny when I put
Barnes.
him down, I was like, I actually thought Giddy
Well, Giddy's
might be
lower.
the.
I'm thinking like in the top 5. That just like
Oh,
somebody's got a lottery pick and just absolutely waste it because Detroit. I mean, Darko had 10 and 10 down in Memphis when he went to Memphis, but he did not fit on the team, and they picked him out of skill over need.
yeah, you're right. Unfortunately, defense is not valued in the NBA, and if Scotty Barnes doesn't develop offense quickly, uh, he'll be out.
Uh,
But
if
he can do
if the
it.
rule change with the chest guarding happens, that could be a big thing for him too, though.
Yeah.
He could, but
So
I think he can develop offense, but that's separate. Another
I
thing,
think he's worth the pick though for sure.
yeah, another thing
Right
that
now.
could throw a wrench into this draft is a possibility of Bradley Beal wanting out, which would also include moving Russell Westbrook, which could happen on draft night. And if Beal goes, either Celtics or Golden State are his big spots that I'm seeing a lot of people talk about. And if Beal gets moved to Golden State, it would probably either include Wiseman or Wiggins, one or the other, not both, because Golden State's not dumb. But it would and the 7 and 14, so that would remove Golden
Yeah.
State out of there. And the bench, I would rather them keep what they have and draft some bench players because they still have a weak bench. But if they got Bradley Beal, that would be pretty good for them. So there's
If I'm going
pros and
state, I'm
cons to
sitting
both.
tight and
Yeah, I would
drafting.
too.
That's what I'm doing. Yeah.
I would too. Beal hasn't really. I mean, he's been competitive, but I haven't seen a whole lot of his career, unfortunately, because he's stuck in Washington.
I don't even know how they'd afford that, to be honest.
Wiggins' contract is pretty large, so that's a trade piece you can move with.
So is Draymond's. So is Curry's.
Yeah, but Draymond and Curry are not movable. Wiggins is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, if I'm going state, I honestly right now with the way Wiggins has been playing, I don't want. I'm not moving him to keep that chemistry going.
yeah,
So
I liked Wiggins. I just know who's on the trading block if they want to get Beal.
yeah, I don't do it. I'm not. Yeah, I see what you're saying, but if I'm going state, I don't want to bring Bradley. I love Bradley Beal, by the way. I think he's great, and I was really upset that he couldn't finish out the Olympics. But I don't think if I'm Golden State, I'm not wanting to bring him in.
No, no, it's just not. They're setting up for something. I've said it before, and I'll say it again now. Wiggins is a better Harrison Barnes, and they won with Harrison Barnes. So,
Yeah, yeah, you have said that multiple times.
but
Yeah.
just a few things. I got a couple more things here, and then we'll be done. It's actually kind of stretching on, but we'll let it go. Free agency wise, we got a few early kind of talking points. Spencer Dinwiddie is on the market. He declined his last year with the Nets to become a free agent, and he wants somewhere around $25 million a year, which
No,
kind of crazy, but somebody will be dumb enough to give him that.
some team that's desperate for. You know who would be dumb enough to pull the trigger on this?
The Lakers.
That's the first team that came to mind.
Well,
Dinwiddie's great, by the way. No, he's not great. He's good. He's
Yeah.
solid.
you
And
know how they're gonna do it. I could tell you exactly how they're gonna do it.
what are they gonna do?
Harrell would opt in if he knows he's going to the Nets where he's going to be competitive. They'll use Harrell in a sign and trade to open up cap to sign Dinwiddie because they got 9.7 trade exception, mid-level exception they can use to sign of cap. And then that would open up another 12 there. Maybe even send, well, no, Nets are pretty capped, so.
They're in trouble.
Mm,
Yeah.
I don't
So
know.
they're gonna move. They're gonna move Schroeder, Kuzma, and KCP somewhere. They're gonna sell the farm to do it, but
Well,
they're
no,
gonna do it.
Schroeder's
They're
a
gonna,
free agent. He could just say no to the sign and trade. I mean, so could Dinwiddie, so.
yeah.
I'm
So
actually over the last few years the amount of sign and trades has surprised me because you would think a team that you're leaving you wouldn't want to give them anything back would be my thing. But I guess if it gets you more money it would be I guess okay, but
I don't think he's getting 25 million. I'm trying to think of maybe if CP3 leaves
Miami
Phoenix.
really wants a point guard, so I could see either him or Lowry going to Miami.
Yeah.
But,
And there's rumors that CP3 might leave Phoenix. He might.
last couple of days I've seen that they both want to sign, so I don't know.
Oh
how
well,
that's
good for him. I think he belongs there.
He belongs
Uh,
there, but for 40 million, I kind of roll my eyes. But if
I know, 37 years old. Okay.
40 million, I would have taken off about 200K for every turnover he had in the finals, but that's just me.
Yeah. Well, if Phoenix does it, you'll understand why Phoenix was so bad
Yeah.
for so long.
The problem with Phoenix signing Chris Paul is the roster was good, but it wasn't quite good enough, and that locks up the amount of money that they have. and Chris Paul. Ayton needs an extension this year too.
which they need to give.
So they're set. Their bench was
Yep.
lackluster because once Big Euro Saric went out, who wasn't that great anyway. They had Kaminsky. Payne is fine, but and Cam Johnson, a little inconsistent. He's fine, but other than that, you're pretty well dead off the bench. You don't have much.
So here's a question to you: Who are you going to pay more this year, Chris Paul or Spencer Dinwiddie?
Long term, I'd pay Dinwiddie because Chris Paul's. Well, see, their contracts are different, so that's hard to tell. I guess
Right.
I would pay Chris Paul because his output is more, because he only wants 2 years and then you're done with him. Dinwiddie's going to want 5, so you better hope you like him when you get him.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Chris Paul is the better move. I don't know. It's gonna be tough. You're right. Miami could, Lakers if they don't land, Westbrook or who else have the Lakers been talks with? Yeah, I don't see Spencer making that much though.
I'm not trying to be just mean or anything, but the only guys the Lakers have had in their viewpoint that's been realistic that I've seen are washed up 3-point shooters, and that's it.
That's
Like a
what LeBron
Wesley
wants, though.
Matthews, just guys that are past their prime that aren't gonna help them a ton. I just don't. LeBron's not the dead set guy that's going to win the championship. So why would you go there anymore? As part of my thing.
That's what he wants. He just wants guys to park themselves on the three. Remember how he begged for Kyle Korver. He wanted he asked for J.R. Smith. Think about that.
Well, yeah, but Jr. actually produced.
Yeah, I know,
When
but
they
that's
brought
what
in Corver, he was pretty well non-existent. But it did take
that's what
it did take Atlanta out of the question though when they did bring in Corver.
LeBron wants guys to sit on the line. And by the way, he's not driving nearly as much as he used to, but that's what he wants. So when he drives, he can kick it out to the
That's
three
when he
baller.
was the best. He's ruined his chance a few times, I think, where he has shot too much. But
Yeah. So, right, he's shooting more, and he's not driving as much, and that's because he's older. It just happens.
I don't know how many times I've wanted to throw something at my TV where the defender does not get when he looks down at his foot, at his right foot when he's ready to shoot, and then he shoots. How you don't know to guard that, because the only time he does it is when he's ready to shoot. You should know that. Watch film.
Yep.
I mean, I don't overplay him. So what? The help defenders come in there. He never shoots him mid range.
Well, Spencer shoots a little bit too, so again, I could see him going to L.A.
Yeah.
if they don't get who they want.
Russell Westbrook is a bad trade.
I agree. He doesn't
him
fit their
in.
team at all.
No 3-ball. It didn't work It didn't work with the Rockets when they needed the 3-point, and they had a bunch of shooters around him. So it's
Right.
not gonna work in L.A. Lowry could be interesting for them.
So
But yeah, we're kind of dragging on here. I think we'll forget whatever else I was going to talk about, but we'll end it here. It's dragged on quite long enough. I don't want people falling asleep listening to it. But yeah, draft is Thursday night. I'm going to probably. What am I going to watch tonight? I'll watch Green, I'll watch Mobley, and I'll watch Kamanga tonight. I'll try to get at least 1 to 2 uploaded tomorrow. I might just stay up tonight and try to get them thrown out. I'll throw this out tonight. But yeah. Any last things? Anything else?
yeah, I love Mobley, old school center, but he can shoot too, a little bit, not much, but a little bit.
Yeah. I'm gonna get the league pass ready next year. I'll be watching more games. I wanted to watch more Pels games, but I couldn't stand Stan Van. So, but this year I'll watch more games. But yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I know it's been a little bit of a hiatus, but thank you guys for watching. If you're on YouTube, I know it's a little late, but like and subscribe. If you're on the podcast platforms, thank you for watching. Have a nice week.